Starting the recording. What's up, everyone? This is the Godfather Dictator, and today I'm with,
DigitalT.
and we're gonna do, we're gonna do a guide, a new guide, an updated guide, if you want, for new player on speedrun, normal, any percent. So I'm gonna start the run, and I'm kind of gonna let Digital explain little bit of the basic of this run, and before I guess certain encounter, I'm gonna press start just so that he will kind of explain what will be the basic strat for for each important encounter, I guess, in each chapter. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so when you start off Ninja Gaiden Black, the first things that I'll recommend for you is understanding how to wall run and not try to wall cling too much. And you'll see that with TGD here. And then other things that are important is managing your essence. One of the first strats that we do is once he gets up here, he's going to hit a torch, and then a yellow essence will fall out. And so the goal is to not absorb that, but you're going to let that float, and you're going to use that for the first fight here and string them together with ETs.
I'm gonna do basic slash. I'm not gonna do the run-in method because I think it's a little bit more advanced. Basic slash, and then I can press start before we start that room. It's one of the specific encounter. So what do you think? In your opinion, do you feel like the advanced strat and the basic strat would be kind of very similar for that encounter?
I think for this encounter, advanced is like you're gonna keep resetting if you don't string all 9. Basic is like just get out of the room, you
All right.
know. Um, so yeah, so the goal is to use your T and Q string together. But if you aren't able to, or you absorb it on accident, you can do what TGD did, which was a forward Y, which will break their guard, and then you can just Y down and they're dead. So there you can see TGD is able to string them all together, and there's all 9 of them, and then you're waiting at the door, and you push X and move down.
Oh yeah,
Here you keep through.
Go ahead. It's kind of important. I just don't want to forget the mashing at the door. Regardless to cancel the door animation.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just wanted to explain that just to make sure that people knew that you don't have to check every single door animation in this game to cancel them.
Yep. And one of the big things here, so you got the teeth, and then the rebirth is the next biggest item, and then the life of 1,000 gods, and then you go back to the samurai to go put the teeth in and grab them. So here's just there's not any crazy movement. You just need to try not to wall cling, which would be running up and getting stuck and not actually making forward momentum.
Also, note you can only wall cling if you stop holding the joystick in the direction that you're wall running. So, for example, if I jump towards a wall and I let go of the joystick to neutral, that's when you're gonna wall cling. If you hold it in the specific direction that you wall run in, you should be able to do it. Here, I think this is the basic strat. I don't know if you agree. The beginning,
Yeah,
start
I
with
do.
with the regular charge. We're not gonna go on top. So same concept as I guess the Brown Ninja room. It's just this one is a lot more random because it's a lot bigger, so they can go a little bit all over the place if they want to be a little bit annoying, I guess.
Yeah, and he starts off with opening the door holding Y. That way, as soon as he gets control over you, he's already charging an ET.
Yep, pretty much. So what do we do for this one? Basic XY?
I would say basic would be XY, and then obviously advanced is rolling into it.
Alright.
Okay.
So we'll go basic XY. I mean when E doesn't block, of course.
Yeah, so here the goal is to create just enough distance with Mirai so that way he rolls into you, and that makes him vulnerable for you to do XY. Sometimes, very rarely, he'll block it, but more often than not, he'll actually be vulnerable for you to continue, and then there's the fight.
So with the pause, that was, I guess, not too bad overall considering, but but it is what it is. When we press start to explain, the time will still keep going. So that was chapter 1. Then once you start chapter 2, you kind of want to hold your joystick a little bit and then go, I guess, 5 o'clock, and then you just press the jump, and that will put you straight at the door. Then wall run, and then forward slash to gain access to the next area, I guess. And then after, it's not necessarily that basic movement, but it's pretty basic. You just don't have to do necessarily the exact string that I'm doing right now. I guess I'm just really used to it, so with
Yeah, it's just memorizing where you need to go, because you are pretty much running towards the camera like backwards, so you don't always see where you're going in all those rooms. And then the goal is pretty much just get back to the beginning of chapter 1, and then at this point is where it changes and you run to the straight back and go grab the fire wheels.
So I think that what I did, the on landing thing, forward X, I think that's a little bit more advanced. You need a little bit better of a timing, so you might not always get it the first few times you do it. It's a little bit tricky. It's not that easy to do.
Yeah, and you're saving like frames. It's for when you're first starting, it's
not very important.
Yeah,
I agree.
To what everything else you need to learn.
So here it might be very subtle what I did, but I kind of did a roll towards that tree specifically because those trees are a little bit magnetic, and you tend to jump towards them, and get into them. So I did that by habit. I don't know if people, when they start, new player doing that, if they will think about doing that. So you might end up jumping in trees, that area.
Yeah, I think naturally everyone, wants to roll jump everywhere, and I still do this, but it's hard to break the habit. But I would recommend, until you get used to like where Ryu's actually going to start getting pulled towards the tree when you jump, is just run around that.
Yeah.
Once you're past the samurai, just run, because you're going to save more time just running, being consistent, than actually wall clinging to every tree there.
Yeah, I agree with that. So here is a basic strat, I guess, to cross the bridge with the cancel X and all. I mean, new player will still want to do that kind of, right? You don't want to just jump and fall on water. All right.
Yeah, worst case, you fall in the water anyway.
So I actually I fell in the water. I was a little off there, I think, in my distance. But ultimately, when you do that, I mean, I can go back to it just to show it, because we're in a guide. I'm just gonna show what it's supposed to look like done properly. And I can't even go up here, actually. It shows how much I go in this area.
New territory.
Yeah, new territory, right? Okay, so I'm gonna line myself up properly. And what you do here is you put yourself right near the edge, I guess, of the bridge. And then you do X into Y, a little bit delayed. And then after, it's gonna push you up here.
Yeah, once you see Ryu start actually losing his height is when you would push X. And then once you see that animation end, then you'll push Y, and that'll help get you that last little distance you need to make it. And then grab the lunar. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's very important, actually. So here, I think at beginner is more, you're gonna let the animation of this kind of appear. I don't think people are necessarily gonna be able to cancel it out at the beginning, so that's pretty much how it would happen. Then you pretty much always want to be over 1000, so you have to grab the Art of Inferno, and this is kind of mandatory. I don't think it's optional.
Yep, I completely agree. And then you grab those 2 items because you're pretty much going to use the extra info right up here. So fill up on arrows.
So here is always the same menu. You want to go take the bow for Masakado, and then you're gonna take Inferno for the next fight. And this one, I would say, the advanced, beginner, everyone should technically do the same strat here, I think. So it's not very easy to explain, I guess, this strat.
Yeah, if you want to take a pause, I can try to explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in my tutorial, my old tutorial, what I do is, I think it's easier, is I go to the left at the very beginning, And the horseman will wrap around like the perimeter of the arena, and he'll bump into you while you're casting your Nympho. And then I hold my left thumbstick to the right, opposite of the first one I knocked down. That way, I knock both of them down. So yours is I would argue it's more advanced
It's
because I
more
missed all
advanced.
the
Yeah, no, I
time.
agree. I agree. Actually, now
Yeah.
that you say it, it makes sense. So, what you would get instead is that you would basically remove the archer first on the left side
Yep.
because he rotates around from that direction, and it's actually more consistent that you're gonna hit him versus the one that I did right there. It might seem like it was easy, but you have a chance to get interrupted by that spear guy, and then it will kind of fuck up the whole timing there, you know. So while
Yep.
doing the other one, I think I agree with what the Digital said that it's safer, I guess, for a new player than the one I did. So don't do what I did at the beginning, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and make sure you have a save to practice what TGG did, because I miss it all the time. That's why I just go for it.
Nah, it's very easy to miss. Totally agree with that. All right. So then after that though, it's the same thing. You will want a best case scenario kill both samurai at the same time, and then you're gonna have the same. Well, I guess the same scenario that's gonna happen right here, right?
Yeah, so yeah, real quick, to kill them both at the same time, um, whichever enemy you knock down first, you want them to chase you while you go to the one that you knock down second, because while the second one is getting up, you want to charge an ET from one of the horse that you're gonna get the essence from, and then you can ET both of them instead of one at a time, and then it doesn't line up everything like TGG is gonna do here.
All right. Let's do this. So once you kill them both, you're gonna get them to appear from there, and then if you line yourself up properly like this, you can take them out both from the horse. Kind of important, I feel, to go back for the essence, regardless of how new you are. You should try to go for the essence. It's never bad, I guess, to make a little more money, you know. So,
Yeah.
here, what would you say? Basic, advanced, kind of very similar-ish. What you want to do, right?
I think they're similar. I will say just a quick recommendation is it is so natural to want to aim down sight or to reset your camera. The reason I say for beginning and advanced is don't touch your camera is because you want the mages to stay as far away as possible. You don't want them to be up close meleeing you, forcing you to attack or block, because you just want to keep pumping damage into Masakata.
Yeah.
So you can just keep an eye on their their orbs that they're shooting, and then you can just block those or roll through it if you feel confident to iframe through it. But either way, just spamming arrows without aiming is probably the most consistent to keep the mages away from.
Yeah, so what Digital say is that when you will press B to start shooting your projectile, you do not want to touch your left joystick. Because if you touch your left joystick while you're aiming, you will go in first person ADS, and that's what you don't want to do. The other thing also that can happen, I don't know if it's going to happen in that specific attempt, is what Digital said. You kind of want to keep the mage in front of you, but if Masakado sometimes get really close or does specific move and he knocks you out, he can throw off the camera to the opposite side, and then when he does that, often the mage will kind of creep in and teleport close to you because you don't see them in your camera in front of you. So that's kind of how this game works, and we're gonna see if we get one where we can actually keep them in front, or if we kind of get unlucky here and Masakado pushes us back, and then the mage will teleport to me, you know. So when he's far, you can kind of go in ADS, but only for a very short period of time.
And TGG kept the mages in the camera too. That's why they didn't teleport.
Not a bad fight, all things considered.
Yeah, so there TGG ran out of arrows, so he was able to use the floating essence he saw to finish off Masakado, because that will happen. Sometimes he just blocks everything. No matter how good the
Yes.
camera work is.
Yes. The RNG of the Masakado block.
Yeah.
Alright, so another chapter down. This was chapter 2.
Master Ninja even.
Yeah, no surprise actually. All right, also I want to point out because I feel there's a lot of ignorance that goes towards that. It's not really important in the speedrun itself, but I feel a lot of people don't know that the ranking at the end of each chapter, it's tied to your karma. It's tied to the amount of point that you do. So if you do a lot of ultimate technique, get a lot of essence, you finish with the Nimble slot bonus, you're pretty much always guaranteed to get the Master Ninja ranking. So start of this chapter, we grab Elixir of the Devil Way on that table. We're gonna need it later.
Yep. So then we run to this, run down the hallway to that door right there. We get to pick up the map for some reason, and then you can immediately start spamming left trigger in a direction to start rolling as soon as you get out of the map. That will just help you get through, you know, waiting, standing there to see what you need to do. Just start trying to roll as soon as you back out of it.
Yep, exactly that. And then you wanna jump towards the doorway, but not press the A button twice. If you press it twice, you're gonna wind path over the enemy's head instead of just jumping over them.
Yep.
So what would you say would be the basic strat for this next encounter? Is it kind of similar-ish in your opinion from advanced to basic?
Excuse me. I would say it's probably similar. I will say to note, a lot of new players I see, they do on these soldiers, they'll do like X Y into the enemy,
Yeah.
and a lot of the black soldiers will block you, so you can just forward Y and skip that. It's more consistent instead of you thinking, am I going to get this X attack onto them versus just forward Y and you just don't have to.
Yeah, the double forward Y to guard
Yeah.
break and then the lift off. So I'll try to see if I can kind of show how that works here. It really depends on how the fight goes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was nice.
So I left the essence there, also from that last guy, to chain to that next fight. It might seem easy here, because, I mean, I messed it up a lot at the beginning. It's not that easy to drag that essence to that specific fight, in a way that if you mess up for even 1 second, there's a very high chance that you're going to get to the next encounter and that you're not going to be able to change the essence. So I just wanted to specify that because sometimes stuff that I might do might seem like it looks easy, but it's not that easy when you do it in an actual run, especially at the beginning of the game. So
Yep, good note.
So what I usually do here is double wind path and then just release. I'm not even going direction, and I will usually be able to kill both those guys. The thing is though, right now, is I'm not gonna lie, I feel that everything I just did there is really advanced. so I don't know. I kind of want to let Digital explain what he feels is a more basic strat here, because I kind of went with what I'm used to do, but I don't think that for new player it's kind of something that you will do there.
Yeah, so like we said at the beginning, essence management is a big thing, especially when you're trying to string them between rooms like that. Like TGD ran pretty far, and luckily, the timing isn't really affected when you're going through the door animations like that. So just those couple milliseconds that you're saving between doors, it helps him keep the essence floating. So yeah, you can wind path. I would say that's the most recommended because you don't have to worry about directional input or anything like that. You're just pushing AX, and then hold Y as soon as you land, and as soon as you see that he has EC, just release. And sometimes you'll get one enemy, sometimes you'll get both, sometimes you can get three. Just depends on where they're all standing. But in the end, you're really likely to get at least one, and then the goal is to keep stringing them together. But since the first couple enemies are the white soldiers, it's not that big a deal. You just want to make sure you have one at least for the black one, so that way you can get some damage on him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also another thing that people should know, even if it's the basic guide, is that you can have a different spawn from the fourth soldier. So when I kill the first two with the ET, then I kill the third one with the Azure Dragon and the XY combo in the air. And then after, from that same window, it was a white tack soldier that came in, but know that it can also be the black tack soldier that comes from that window. That's kind of RNG, and I haven't really figured out what causes that if you want in the game, but it can happen, so be aware of that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to test that for us, go ahead and let us know.
So I'm leaving the essence here. Same thing.
Yeah, so while TGG is going through the elevator, he's got the essence floating up there, and the, what is it, 7-8 seconds or something that the essence can
Yeah,
float?
about something like that. 8, 10. It depends. The one that are from a ET or UT lasts a little bit longer than a regular essence.
Okay. Yeah. So he
Yeah,
that essence is still floating, 2 floors above. So
Yep.
he's gonna be able to use it here.
Note that I point the direction that I'm kind of going in. Now I'm showing this here, but you're probably not gonna do that from, I guess, a basic player strat here. That I think that time limit took me for real forever before I started doing it and getting the hang of it. I think it's a fight that looks very easy, but it's not that easy, and you kind of want to do the same concept I did here. It's just I doubt that at first you're gonna get the same result. You're gonna chain those essence every time, but if you want the windows from where those guys come from is also random. It's a bit similar to the bunk bed fight on top.
Yeah, and if you're not able to string essence together, and I'd say, especially when you're starting, just get runs out of the way, because try to treat them as a no reset, no death. That's the goal when you first start learning the game.
Yep.
And then also, if like I said, if you don't get the essence to string, these are only the white tactical soldiers, so you can just go up X, Y, Y, and then repeat, and then you have an essence really quick. So
Yeah,
it's not a run killer when you're first starting, I guess.
No, not at all. And then you just want to keep one last yellow essence floating at the end for that soldier that's going to be coming right now. It's going to be the Y counter attack too, not the X. They're both different here.
Yep. And TGG was hanging out in the corner there. That way he could get the soldier to attack him and not move far as soon as he starts. And then he did the counter, which knocked him down, and the ET hit him twice because he knocked him on the ground. So that's what kills him. Yeah, so that room, I'll say real quick, you want to win path like every time, because if you put a direction in,
you risk
can
it.
catapult off the cliff or the edge. Yeah, I have done that. It's very sad.
I did too. Don't worry, you're not alone. Okay, so this fight, well, I started it already, but I do think that it's pretty standard on all difficulty on what you want to do. You might mess up the first few times, but I think once you get the hang of it, it will pretty much always go clockwork for that fight. I don't know if you agree on that.
Yeah, so this one's the same. After you hit the first box on the left, keep that floating, go hit the handle a couple times until the enemy spawn. Then you don't even have to do a direction, you just hold Y, and then you just keep stringing ET. You don't even have to move. That's how great it is. And so, yeah, what TGG's doing here, he's just stringing them. He doesn't even have to move. He can, just to save a little time. But you can't wait for all of them to come here. Here, just a small note.
Yeah,
I
go
always
ahead.
always drop it to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because Ryu, for some reason, has this weird collision with the rope when the bridge is too high. It does save you a couple seconds, if you don't, drop it all the way. But when you're first starting, that couple seconds is
not important.
that big a deal compared to losing the entire run.
I agree.
You don't have any hit points.
So what I'll do is I'll continue then lowering it all the way to the bottom for this one here, instead of doing the 5 like I'm used to. So then after, another thing also that I feel is good for people to know here is that if you roll towards the edge, you will never fall off. So I'm gonna go and roll towards the platform, aim, kill those guys right here, and then I just want to show that, see, do that, you will not fall off, and that's a good way to center yourself, because after you can just jump like that forward and just plan your direction, I guess.
Yep. And if you're not comfortable with doing that forward jump when you're at the edge like that, you can just jump straight up. A neutral jump.
Basically like this. Static jump, yes, alright. So, here, dropping that guy, is it consider advanced, or?
I would say it just requires a little practice. I don't think, it's super easy to get the timing on when you want to cut that corner. Sometimes you might get shot as soon as you hit the corner up here. So if you don't know, there's a black tactical soldier that has his gun drawn like as soon as you cut the corner here. So what you want to do is roll jump around the corner, like literally right at the corner. Then you'll be able to avoid his gunshot.
So I'll go ahead. No, go ahead. I'll show you the string that I usually do in my run. So when I drop here, I usually like wall run once, wall run, and then roll after and reach there. Like, it didn't do it right here, but that's pretty much what it's supposed to happen. So you do the double wall run. I'm just gonna go back and show you what I usually do. And I mean, after, it's something that you can practice. So I go here, I drop, then I wall run. Actually, I roll jump, run, and then boom, like here. That's pretty much the string that I do. But it's just something that you gotta get used to. You see, even there, I thought I did double wall run, but I don't. So it's I always come here, drop, one wall run, jump, then roll here, and boom, come around that same area. So yeah, it's something you get used to,
Yeah, and the main goal is to just forward Y him up the ledge. You don't have to fight him or counter, just send him lifted.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. All right. Now we're here. We're just gonna do, once you get here, gonna go around, and you can either center your camera if you're not comfortable going it from the side like this, because you can jump from the side, go in, do air destruction slash, or just center your camera and then do an air destruction slash. And after, it's gonna be to kind of break that console here. And if you place yourself middle, you can do it with less air destruction slash, but I don't think it's really important in your first few run. Usually gonna take you like 3, so we're gonna do this, then this, and this, destroy the console.
Yep.
Alright, and now we're traveling all the way back. Now, question, do you feel like it's important for a new player to get the talisman at the end?
I was gonna say it's a good spot to know where it's at if you feel you want it just to continue your runs and not have to.
So I could go show where it is real quick, just because it's I think it's a good safety net, I would say, at first, to have the talisman. If you're not too used to it, you even have 2, it's not bad.
Yeah. So what TGD did on the stairs there is called on-landing jumps. We'll talk about that probably more in the advanced.
Yeah, you're not gonna really do that. You're just gonna want to go up the stairs regularly, I guess. And then is in that chest right here, or the other one?
That's the other one.
Okay, the other one. Shows you how much I come here. So. Here, okay, so you get
here a lot.
So you get the talisman here. And then after, you basically just head back the same way you came in. Good thing here on these boxes, because I think a lot of people sometimes get confused with the roll jump. You can just walk up. You don't even have to run. And then to gain height here, you just jump towards there and air destruction flash, which is the X in the air, and you can do the same thing. Come back. Just a little trick.
Yep, and if you're lost, this is the same hallway that you start the chapter in. It's just the back. It's the opposite way.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where it's at.
Pretty much. So I always do a menu here to you've changed an impo and all of that, you can do it, I guess, whenever you want after you kill the dudes with the over the bridge, I would say, over the wire, you know, the two white tag soldier. You can do the menu there if you prefer. That's just something I'm used to in here.
Yeah. So he swapped to lunar, fire wheels, smoke bombs. I was gonna put a note. It's good you did it. The smoke bomb on the stairs there, in case those soldiers, are thinking about shooting you. You can just drop a smoke bomb and it'll keep you rolling, and you'll avoid the bullets. And then we're gonna be going over the lunar strat with Dynamo, which is X, Y over and over, and then TGG probably can go over it better than I can with the smoke bombs and fire bombs.
Yeah, well, I'll try to explain it, but it's kind of like you get a feel for it over time with the smoke bomb cancel for the slide. So I guess we're gonna try to explain it as much, well, as good as possible, but I think it will be a little bit overwhelming for people at first for this boss, especially depend on the pattern that he gives you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so what I'll recommend is practicing Dynamo a lot with smoke bombs and lunar. Don't worry about, to try to get speed. Try to avoid getting hit.
Yeah, avoid the grab.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see he was doing X, Y there, and then he was waiting to see if he was going to do a swing attack or a grab, and if he did the grab, he decided to do smoke bomb, and that kind of helps negate his shooting. And then he also is avoiding the grab at the same time, and then go over probably, I'd imagine, in the more advanced with the fire wheels and just maxing DPS on.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, for the people that don't know, the smoke bomb at the same time, the early animation also replaces a roll, which is why we're able to dodge Dynamo's grab with the smoke bomb. So I think this one, overall, fairly average chapter. I would say there's probably different strat for maybe the the Inferno encounter that's a bit tricky to get, I guess. I'll still show it, but then you can say what you feel it's the more basic strat, I guess, I'll just get into it.
So for this one, probably like, I don't know, 85% of this is just moving through the town. And then you have 2 fights that you will go through. And here you'll just see him smoke bomb. We don't need that many for the rest of the run. And then up here, he's going to X, Y, the first guy into the wall. And then he's going to keep X, Y, and that guy can do more HP. And then he's going to use ET to just get the last guy out of there. When you're starting out, you might as well grab that extra essence.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, as you're getting more comfortable with managing your money, you wouldn't have to grab it like TG just did. Do you want to go over right here where the door triggers?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, right?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of gloss over real quick. So he swaps to Inferno for this fight because it's the only spot that we actually use an impo. And so you saw that quick little cutscene where the door slammed shut. So at the left side of the doorway, from where it was facing, is where you want to make Ryu jump over, because that way you're able to get closest to where these guys spawn. Otherwise, you're showing up late and it kind of messes up the
timing. Yeah, and it's not easy though to do the timing. I'm really used to it at that point, but I don't know how many times I messed it up, and it still happens sometimes where I will mess it up. So
yeah, and you can just forward run until you get there, and then you just do it forward.
Even there, I kind of messed it up a little bit with the directions. Not the end of the world, but I got thrown off a little, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so they're just like the rest of the the mandatory fights is it's going to be the same every time. So you're gonna have the 2 white soldiers and then the grenade launcher guy and then the black soldier at the end. So he finishes them off, the 2 with XYs, and then he's able to finish the last 2 off with the Inferno, and it's just the timing. Yeah. I would say once you kill the second the white tactical soldier is actually dead, you could probably look at casting your Inferno.
Little bit advanced here, the movement, I guess, for the wall run and all. Not necessarily gonna be able to do that, I guess.
Yeah, so TGG is doing a lot of stuff right now. So he just did the Spirit of the Devils. As soon as he picked it up upstairs, you're gonna want that. And then went around, opened the door. So once you got to that that area where he just wall hopped all the way upstairs, avoided the ninja, is once you get to the first corner where the ninja starts spawning, if you can wall run along that
left
first
side,
wall, and just, and just hold your direction, kind of like left, so you actually hit that wall. Then wait till you get to the edge, then start spamming A. That's how he was able to avoid and keep his momentum.
Yeah, exactly. I just kept the same direction going. If not, you're gonna wall cling pretty much.
Yeah, and then the last thing here is we get a ticket to Hans Bar. So to purchase something, we have the money for Dragon Sword level 2, which is going to be helpful for next couple.
And that's why Digital said earlier to grab the other essence, because it's very easy to be off in the amount that you need, and sometimes by just a couple of hundred. So getting that extra yellow essence pretty much just makes it more guaranteed that you will have the amount that you need once you reach that part.
Yeah, and we can we could add something into as well. So after TGG got into the green room, there's a chest to the far right. If you're really low on money,
there's
can go
5k, right?
Yeah, exactly.
5k essence into it at the end of the area. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get you through, in case your money's looking really sad.
Yeah. it happens. It happens. Chapter 5. Doing a jump straight back, grabbing that key. Don't forget that key. Kind of important. Just in case, I'm just gonna make a save if needed for any reason. Just gonna make one. So you kind of want to jump off straight up the balcony here. You could go through the inside, but that's it's a waste of time in a speed run when you can go straight on the outside. And then we're gonna go back to one of the previous area that we visited earlier, but we didn't have the key to open the door. Pretty much that's where we're going right now.
So for this area, TGG was able to throw a smoke bomb to kind of get everyone a little off, and then he was able to run by them without having to get hit or shot or anything like that. And then here's just movement through the tunnel. The fun part is the next time we go through the tunnel.
Yeah, I think definitely the lever is the advanced strat, so I guess I'm just gonna go for the despawn, I guess. Not gonna even smoke bomb here.
Yeah. So this is the part where I was talking about where you might need extra smoke bombs, but that'll be more for the advanced. So TGG is gonna come right up here to despawn the enemies, and there's a line that he hits. It's that gray black bar on the ground right outside the end of the tunnel. As soon as you hit that, just roll jump back. And you'll create a smoke bomb. Yeah, yep.
And also you want to make sure you're fast enough for the comeback, because if you're too slow, you respawn them,
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, yeah.
And I think there's really no point in bothering explaining the advanced strat here, mostly due to the fact that it's easy to mess up even when you know it, so... Yeah.
Right, yep.
So I'm coming up to another encounter. So what would you say for this one in terms of strat?
Yeah, so I was curious if you were gonna go over your dragon sword thing or
Do I
the
keep the
lunar.
lunar? Do I
Yeah.
just, do you feel like it's keep the lunar for the more basic one?
Yeah, so I guess you could break them down to yours is probably faster. The lunar one is better for money.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. So we're gonna show then the lunar one. We're gonna just keep the lunar in here just for that.
yeah, so XY into the wall. The third hit is what kills him, and then he uses the essence from the first two soldiers he killed, and then just fully UTs them and gets a bunch of money. So that's a easy money strat early in the game.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one actually.
And then TGG skipping it, but at the left there's a great
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Up. So that's
Yeah.
a
You show it
that's
just
a free full HP right there.
right in here, right there.
Yep.
That's a great elixir right there. I'm just too used to skipping, I guess.
No, you're good. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Alright, so here there's different trigger point for this specific fight that's gonna spawn like right here. These guys are gonna drop from the top there. I like to go to the one on the right, but that I think is fairly standard here. And then you kind of want to FS, and as soon as you kill two, you don't have to do anything else. It's pretty much it. Now I think here advanced beginner, it's kind of gonna be the same thing on what you want to do for this fight. You agree?
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right, so I'll let you explain it. I'll do it. I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, so the first one is the first dino is pretty much always going to roll at you like that. So TGG uses the iframes from the Inferno to avoid it and still pump out some damage. And then he's going to finish off using the floating essence from the first guy. And then he likes to refill his limbo up here. You don't always have to do that. You can keep that for a little bit later if you need it. And then he just Infernos the last guy. The last guy died really quick there because he kind of tagged him with that second Inferno, and then was able to finish with the third Inferno he did. So they don't always die like that. Sometimes they don't get brush against you when you're casting.
And as you said, if you want to save Nimpo for later on, you can kill the last one without Nimpo. You can use UT or use the essence from the previous one, to do enough damage to the last guy if you prefer. So now, what is the basic strat here for the Hydrocubus?
I mean, I think the most basic strat is just Flying Swallow. I would say one step, and it's probably like right up there with not even calling it advanced, would just be Flying Swallow, Shuriken, Y.
Yeah. That I think is standard, right?
Yeah,
Flying
that's what I was
Swallow,
thinking too.
Shuriken into Elm Splitter. The Y is the Elm Splitter move that's going to come down. So I'll show the strat, and then I guess Digital will talk about it a little bit. So I'll equip Fire Wheel.
Yeah, so the inputs he's doing is AX to line up two Hydrocubus, Flying Swallow with Y, Shuriken with Y, and then Elm Splitter with Y again. And then he's repeating this. And then he's just doing X, Y, X, X, X.
I guess that's a standard combo, right, for at the beginning.
Yep.
That's what I feel. I'm not gonna go with the charge. I think it's advanced, so I'll just.
Yeah, that one's a little bit of time.
I'll go just with FS.
Yeah. So and if you get caught, you can see PGG's block with your tentacle swing. You don't have to try to roll it or jump it. You can just keep it. And then you'll see an X, Y, X, X, X. And that's Hydrocubus.
Yeah, that's a standard Hydrocubus. If you want to dish out a little bit more damage, I mean, you saw me equip Fire Wheel. I never use it, but you can use it,
Yeah, and it's not going to cost you anything. You accept karma points, which really doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it does not matter.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use it. Just even if you want for a little more iframes through a tentacle swing or something as well.
All right, so this chapter here, I think it's one of the most technical chapter. We're gonna save. We're gonna make a save. There's gonna be a lot going on in this chapter, I guess. And before each encounter, I'm gonna pause so we can talk a little bit about what's between the basic and advanced strat. But from what I'm thinking of, though, a lot of strats are going to be similar still, even at the beginning, because you kind of want to go for speed in those fights, and they don't always have that specific strategy for each of them if you want. So we'll explain it when we're in it.
Yep. Yeah, so here you'll see there's a couple opportunities to pick up some free items. So TGG picks up one there. At the top of these stairs to the left is another good item to go grab. Saves you, I think it's like 15. Is it 1500 on normal?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
There you go. Now you just got two free double
Like serve the devil way.
Yeah.
All right, so I think you always kind of want to do the same strat here, regardless of beginner and advanced. I think. So air destruction slash is an info, and then you kind of want to go find out where this last guy is. Almost did not kill him. That's pretty much, I think, the worst spawn that he can go to is the opposite corner right there. You know. So.
Yeah, so to start off, the goal, the very first priority in that fight is the monks, which are the guys that are floating with the scythes. So as soon as he got to them, he does air destruction slash to kind of stagger them, and then he casts his fire wheels to get the damage on them, and then he doesn't even mess with the other team because he's waiting for the second monk to spawn, and he wants to know where he's at. So as soon as he sees him, he does the next thing, and it only costs him one info.
Yeah, and if you're unlucky though, because that's the worst corner where he spawns. So if you're unlucky, your fire wheel might run out before you reach that monk if he's in a bad location, and then you might have to kill him regularly, which is annoying. And it's why, as Digital said, you kind of want to prioritize the monk as fast as possible, and that I think is regardless of the advance or the new player strat.
Yep, and then he picks up the piece of the tablet, the incendiary shuriken, and then we're heading on to the next one.
One of those really fun fight here.
Yeah. We're gonna assume if you're speedrunning, you know the combination.
You have to, yeah, no choice.
Yeah.
I actually killed the first monk.
Yeah. So here, yeah, you're gonna see TGG throw a lot of incense at the monks. Again, we're trying to prioritize them because the teams, you know, you can easily BT or counter. The monks are the ones flying around, casting stuff at you, so you want to get rid of them as quickly.
Oh. Decent one overall. It's kind of hard.
I like to recommend getting the stat fee here. Sorry, because
before?
Yeah,
before.
because that gives you, you know, if for some reason you don't grab it, you only have one more opportunity to get it. Otherwise, your run's gonna be
fucked.
pretty much dead. Yeah.
Pretty much dead. Yeah. So I guess for new player, grab it before and during the lock. You know, during the combination for the lock, I guess you just grab it.
Yeah, get that into your soul. You don't want to forget that.
That's very important. Because what Digital said, guys, is that if you forget that, you get to the end of the game on the core and you don't have a statue to progress. So here is more advanced. I guess you would kind of want to wall run at the beginning, but I'm just really used to doing that, so I'm doing it like that. But you can dodge most of the stuff, I guess, by wall running at appropriate timing. I guess I could show it here just for the lulz, something like that, you know.
Yeah, and so if you're trying to understand what TGG is doing, we kind of touched on it in chapter 3 with the on-landing jumps. We'll probably go over that more in the advanced tutorial.
Yeah.
But long story short, it gives iframes and helps them get through the spikes.
Yeah, if you time it right, that's what it does.
That jump TGG did, he did it with full confidence. I would recommend
Not doing that.
looking because you can just jump to your death, and it's game over. So you always want to make sure you're going to land on a ledge, not some weird collision on the dragon that isn't going to move or anything. So
Yeah, as you said, yeah, I kind of did that because I'm really used to it. But if you're not sure, you can center your camera first person and look down to make sure that you're centered properly. Because it's one of those things. There's not a lot of time where if you fall from a high place that you will die in this game. Actually, when I think on it, it's probably one of the only spots that this can happen, right?
right, yeah.
So yeah. So you just gotta be careful because there's certain instances where if you have a talisman, it will not kick in for a certain type of death if you don't.
Yeah, so that part is a side scroller or an auto scroller. Sorry, and it's just free money for GGG to while he's already stuck, he might as well just get a couple extra bucks.
So I guess here is it advanced to use the Inferno Nimpo strat, or you just kind of want to go with the Incendiary Shuriken when you go here at first, or what do you?
I would say it's probably, I wouldn't say it's advanced. It's just understanding that these bugs up here, so you're always going to get like one to swoop in at you. So you're just going to want to roll through that. And then
Show it.
I would just unlock my camera and I'm waiting to see, they like to swarm. So that's when you'll cast your nympho. So that you can see them all in sync there. That's when he started his nympho cast, and then you can just spam incense and nympho really. You don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about, do I need to wait for another swarm? There's not that many after that first initial hit, so you can just keep going.
Now there's 14 enemies total. Okay. It's kind of a tricky encounter here, but I think you will want to do the same either from advanced or beginning strat. But even on the advanced version, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to bring a good version of that fight. Well, technically we can, you know, look at my run, I guess, but I don't even know if it was that good in my actual run, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll say for this room, I like to, prioritize the archers, because they're the ones that are going to hit you across the room. So you saw that he was able to hit him with the Incendiary Shuriken and then XYY. They can block your Shuriken, so listen to if they block it or if it's connected.
Hyper armor.
Yeah, exactly. And you should string in essence over and over again. And here you can get a good amount of money. It depends on what you're going for. If you're going for speed or money, here is going for speed. And what I mean by that is you can actually just absorb it by standing next to it compared to absorbing it and doing your ultimate. So it just depends on what you're going for here. But in the end, you're trying to get as many of the zombies together in one UT as possible. Getting one by itself is not the goal. You want to get like 2 to 3, and
That was not too bad. Not too bad overall. Pretty decent. So let's explain a little bit the timing here, I guess.
Yeah. So if I don't think we explained it, but we like to always have the karma window up on the side there. And then you'll see at 112-ish, you can either cast an info or do a full UT charge. I'd only recommend that if you have essence floating. But see there, he just automatically killed everyone and doesn't have to wait and fight them all.
That cancels the animation of the button. Because if not, you have to pretty much kill the zombie that press the button right here.
Yep. Yeah, so you're not losing any time casting that right before the cutscene starts. Because you're doing it while you're watching.
Okay, so the shortcut here, that's advanced. We're not doing that. I'm just gonna go the regular way up, I guess, with the flail. And also
that ladder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see a lot of people get nommed. So there, I would just try
to kill the
out
bats.
the path a little bit. Yeah, watch your HP. If it's not full, I would recommend either healing or trimming down the bats because they can kill you on that ladder and it costs you 1,000.
Yep. All right. So here, I don't know. I don't think the safe strat is to go YOLO like I do. Definitely not for new player.
Yeah. Did you want to? Do you want to explain like how the blocking and the archers kind of work?
Well, yeah. Well, to the best of my ability, I guess, of my knowledge, is that the archer kind of trigger their shot when you let go of the block. You know, they're kind of waiting for that moment when you let go, so they can shoot you. And also, if you're in a roll, they can also shoot you in the middle of the roll. Sometimes they're extremely accurate, so you kind of want to like be careful for that. But I think probably one of the safest strat would be to keep one on camera at a time, and then just X to stun him, and then move on to the next. You know, I don't know if you agree.
Yep, I would agree. Yeah.
So I'll try to show it because it's been so long since I did it. So you block, and when he hits you, go with an X, then re-jump. When he hits you, go with an X, re-jump. When he hits you, jump, go with an X, and then that's the safe strat too.
Yeah, and that gets more risky when you have multiple on camera and
Yep.
you're just trying to roll through. Because when they shoot you, they don't just hit you; they can knock you all the way to the bottom. So
Yes.
it's a risk-reward thing. Definitely keep that to account when you're trying to account for speed. Because every time you fall, right, there's that much more time you just lost.
Yeah, and it's a huge time loss, by the way, for them. So I think here, beginner, advanced, always gonna be the same. It might look like it's advanced strategy. If you're not used to doing it without centering your camera, you can always recenter your camera if you're more comfortable. It's just a plain regular old jump. There's nothing special about that here. So you reach that area, you will jump, then you center your camera, jump towards the wall, re-jump, and then you face that direction and you go up.
Yep.
All right. So here, I guess there's two combo that you can do that are good against that boss. You have the fire pit. I don't know why they're all called fire pit though, because it's the last one. I never
You ran out
noticed
of
that.
names.
What? I just noticed that. That's crazy. They're all fire pit. All right, so we're talking about the last fire pit, the XXY, and then you have the. Can we even see the? It's while jumping. Okay, so it's two different moves. The XY is wide Evans, and then the extra Y is the Dragon Emperor Kick. All right, it's very interesting because I thought it was one string of combo, not two separate combo. Did you know that? I did not.
No, I didn't know that
I
either.
did not. All right. Okay, so two separate combos. So you have the last fire pit, the XXY, and then you have the XY and Y because the other move when you're in the air, it's a separate move. I thought it was one string, but two separate combo. You kind of want to do them for different occasion. For the first leg, I always try to do the same string, and I think regardless of advanced or new player strat, you should try to implement that string in. So what I usually do is I do XXY, XXY, so I do it twice, and then I finish the last part of it with XYY. Now, one thing that is good to know, double front leg have the same HP, which is the lowest amount of HP that the Bone Dragon has. His back leg have increased HP compared to the first one, so you're gonna have to do more combo on it. And then of course the string of the combo will change on the back leg. Oh, I kind of got a lucky here. I went a little too fast on the trigger.
Yeah, so the only attacks that he's going to do, if it's not a sweep with that left hand, is going to be those spikes flying. So he's obviously going to be watching those while he's doing his inputs. Here for the sweeps or rotation of the different limbs, you can see he's doing a neutral jump. If you are feeling less confident in the timing, you can jump and then push X, and it'll kind of keep you hovering a little bit longer. You can also Nimpo if you have extra Nimpo.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have Nimpo here or not. It's, you know, it can be nice, but it's not required.
Yeah, it can be a little bit faster, you know, but that's not really important on a new player, for a new player, I guess, to get those extra seconds. It's not gonna be mandatory.
Yeah, there's chapter 6. That one's one of the more long-winded ones.
Yeah. It's actually it's the second longest chapter after chapter 15. So it's like 15, 6, 10 in the longest.
Yeah. So
Now,
here you can still jump off the ledge.
yeah, and die. And die.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this when we were chatting earlier. So wherever you starts this chapter is where you ended your fight.
Yep, pretty much. So the camera will be facing the last direction that you were facing when you killed him. Just gonna save here. And then you kind of want to jump, I guess, from that point down the hole. You don't really see it, but that's not really important because you're not gonna die there.
Yeah, and that's just a small time save. If you don't think you're gonna make the distance that TGG did, you can also air destruction slash just to get that little bit more. It's just so you don't have to go around the weird collision of dead bone dragon on the ground there.
Yep. So the only mandatory thing that you need here is to upgrade the dragon sword. So even if usually when I have enough money, I also upgrade the lunar. But for the purpose of this guide, we're not gonna do it. We'll just do it at the regular place later on.
Yeah, and I'll say if you feel you have extra money after Dragon Sword, I like to recommend refilling Incendiary Curriculum because you fight so many of these zombies.
Yeah.
For the red one.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
So there, now that we have level 3, you see TGG did Gleaming Blade. This one will probably go over in advance just because it can be confusing on how to get it consistently. But if you hit a zombie with a full Gleaming Blade, they die.
Yeah, pretty much. So the jumping also is not really that easy, I guess, to explain the jumping towards the wall. It's also a little bit trickier in the red room. But I do think, though, that in the red room, it's probably better to try to go with the skip on the wall. But do you feel it's better with the bridge? That's what, because I think the bridge it can be trickier too. That's what I was just thinking about. Unless you go arrow, maybe you go safety arrow.
I don't know. My opinion is I like the bridge because then you're not reliant on Ryu landing that up there. I feel like it's more random, but that's just subjective. Whatever works for you is
okay.
I guess what I would say.
I think that
but I don't even need bow here actually.
I think the safe strat though would probably be to do that.
Yes.
Just for safety. Like, you don't want to risk getting knocked or anything, so here you can take damage on these, but it's not wait, I just want to show you. See, it's not really important in a way that it deals a little bit, but it's not doing much. Okay, so I'm gonna do it properly to just show how it kind of works. So you get here, then you jump, you get hit, wait a second, get hit, wait a second, and then that's it. You're there.
Yep.
Because if not,
we can go over the 2 different ones.
Yeah. Because if not, you can do the same jump that I did on the other one, on the side of the wall, like right here, pretty much. But this one is trickier because the place is a little bit higher than the previous one, so you kind of have to go like to the limit top of that jump to do the cancel, and then it's a different kind of cancel too. So we can go over it in the advanced one, because the advanced one we can do mid-bridge with the incendiary shuriken, and then we can do the one from the wall.
Yeah, so when you're going through, when you're going through red and blue room, you might as well pick up and fill up arrows and pick up all the chests there just to make sure you're well for that. Hydra Cubist 2, it's the same exact fight, except you're going to see TGG is going to use Gleaming Blade, so he's going to use that floating essence he just got to use Gleaming Blade. and you're pretty much always gonna two-cycle and
I was gonna charge her. Bad habit. Well, good habit, but bad habit in the guide we're doing right now. And with wow. Okay.
wow.
Okay.
Dang.
Wow. Okay.
The
Interesting.
unit.
Right now, this is very interesting because I'm not too sure what's happening here.
Weird.
What was that?
Yeah. Fun fact: if you take too long, he can grow his other tentacle back.
Yeah, pretty much. And I thought that was very weird what just happened. Very,
Yeah,
very
I felt like
strange.
his threshold like reset or something.
I think it did. I think it really did. It's very strange. Either way, it's kind of what you want to do. Except usually his last tentacle is not supposed to take 10 flying swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there, TGG hops up, grabs the Jewel of the Demon Seal. We're gonna use that on Inazuma later. Skip Ice Storm. It's the worst Nimco in the game.
It could have been good, you know. I was thinking about that the other day. It could have been good if they made it expand continuously, you know, instead of being in place. But because
Yeah.
it could have been the same, if you want, as Inazuma, but ice version, you know. And
Yep.
I think they totally missed out on that. But hey, whatever.
I just thought it would be really good for Smogging, considering it's ice and he's dragon.
Right? And it didn't. It did not, right? Even in the middle, I think it does not do a lot of damage to him. All right, so
Coming up, we
yeah,
have some ninja that we're gonna go through, and then Alma. So TGD, you're really good at this room. If you want to go over how you go.
it really depends. I mean, I was doing with a charge at some point, and now I try to go for the gleaming blade because I notice it's a little bit more reliable. So what I just do is I counter attack with X usually, and I think it's pretty much the safest way because those guys are very agile. And I think the more you try to combo them, the more they will dodge and punish you. So instead of, you know, going really aggressive on them, I would probably advise to take it a little bit easier. Okay, so now Alma, probably one of the trickiest fight in the game, depending on what she does. So what what is your opinion on the beginner strat or the advanced strat for this?
So the two consistent ways that you can actually get damage on her, or start a combo on her, is the Flying Swallow, and then a Haze Slash, which is where you hold Y, but you don't like charge it for an ET. You just hold it enough and then release. So both of those can knock Alma over. So I wouldn't advise spamming Flying Swallow because sometimes she gets really dodgy, and it kind of puts you in a bad place for recovery frames because you can't move certain times. I would say opening, you probably could start with a Haze Slash, but
it's more reliable, right? But I don't know if people. Well, I'll try to do it and we'll see what happens here.
There you go. So TGD was able to land it, and then he does X, Y, X, Y, and then and then he ends with the Inferno Nimbo cast, and he's trying to beat her to the ground so that way the cast will actually hit her, and then the fireball will be the one that knocks her down. And then he rinses, repeats, and then fills up on Nimbo in the middle of it. She can dodge it. It's not 100%, but it's very highly that she's gonna get. Nice fight.
That's when you want a good Alma, and you cannot get one, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh my god. Also, for some reason, I thought I picked up some arrows before, but it seems that I'm just at 5, so I might have, missed some while we were explaining the comeback.
Oh, you picked them up and then you shot in Red Room.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, 100% right then. Okay, so I did pick them up then. Well, I never used them in Red Room, to be fair, right? But it was for safety measures, so I showed that, but make sure that you kind of want to refill it though, because right now I'm not gonna have enough to actually kill the soldier on top. So just for the purpose of that run, I'm just gonna go to the shop and just buy a couple, because if not, I'm not gonna be able to show it properly, I guess. But you're not gonna do that in a run, though. So we'll just go to pretty much like 10 should be enough. Actually, no. Fuck, I forgot. I need to max out this because the chopper, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, okay, so if you use them in the red room, you have to go refill them in the blue room, I think, if you're gonna use that. Because you kind of need that refill right here. But what I like to do here is I wait a fraction of a second for the first shot to volley, then run for a no, and then put myself in the corner like this with a gleaming blade. I mean, that's kind of advanced, not gonna lie. The timing's not always gonna be like that easy, but it's something that you will get a feel for it, but it's definitely the better strat, I think.
Yeah, so the first thing TGD did there, which I want to note, is he went to the far wall. He didn't go to the left wall when he entered the room, because you want the soldiers to stay in the same spot and kind of be stacked on top of each other. I've seen a lot of new players, they go to the left because it's technically the shortest route to get to near them, but it's not going to keep them grouped together, which is what messes it up.
Yeah, it's gonna make them aggro sometimes. One of them is gonna run towards you, and then as you do the Inferno, the timing of their death, you know, the way their body dissolves is gonna be a little off, and then the timing will not be the same when it's time to do the Gleaming Blade in the corner.
Yeah, and what TGG did with the Gleaming Blade is really good for money. Also, it's really quick, and you don't need Nimpo for the rest of the chapter. So if you want, you can just wait for the timing again of all three of the second wave to come down and just Nimpo them.
Yeah, you can use double Nimpo. Absolutely right. Now here sometimes they take 2, sometimes they take 4. You kind of have to check for your kill count on the karma window. Okay, so that's advanced strat. I mean.
Yeah. So that was really quick. So you just need to hit him. What is it? 4 times.
4 times.
And so what TGG does is he's holding B while he's trying to skip the cutscene, and then that lets Ryu start aiming down as soon as you gain control of him.
Yep.
So you can get 2 quick shots and then do a full 180 and wait for him to come around. You might take a couple shots and then you just, you do 2 more when he's not moving, and there's your 4. TGG did the more advanced quick one because he was able to sneak in 3 and then do a quick because he knows the timing, the 4th, and cut him off.
Yeah, that took me a long time, by the way, to learn. It took me forever. I usually used to do the whole turn and then I would hit him on the last shot. It's just something that the more you do, I guess, that specific part of the chapter and you practice it, the better you'll become at it. There's no real secret to it, I guess.
Yeah, and if you don't shoot him at all, you are just stuck waiting for the chopper to keep shooting at you, and it's a long time to have to wait for him to leave. So I mean, you can just keep blocking, but it's a big time loss.
Yeah, and also if you stand in the middle there, he can shoot missile at you too, so that's good to know. If you're gonna do the waiting strat, I guess it's better to stay near the fence door that you're gonna open later on, and this way you can just block and he will just try to shoot, his regular machine gun towards you, I guess, and that will take a long ass time though, as Digital said. You're gonna waste a lot of time doing that. So that's a spot, by the way, right here that I like to put myself to get the 2 shot here, but it does not always work either. So I throw an arrow at first just to see if I'm lined up properly, because there's no crosshair in this game. And then you see he didn't die, so I just waited the 3 hit. And what happens for the 2 hit is that usually when you get the second hit, it will bounce against that little part of the wall, which will do extra damage, and I can show it when we're there so that people understand what happened, Here I equip smoke bomb, just gonna throw one as soon as I get here, and that will prevent those soldiers from aggroing me when I'm trying to get inside the door right here.
Yeah, and I want to know, the top runners do that. So I've seen a lot of new players think they're going to save time by not swapping, which is like 2 seconds, and then they're stuck getting blocked at the door by the soldiers for like 20 seconds. So that is like one of the most recommended simple strats. It's just swap the smoke bomb as soon as you start, smoke bomb, and then enter the door.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything other than your movements to the door that stops you.
Pretty much. The only time where you won't be able to do that is if you ran out of smoke bomb, obviously. You know, so if you ran out of smoke bomb, you can't really do that. You're gonna have to do it the regular way. But if you do have smoke bomb, as Digital mentioned, I highly recommend switching smoke bomb. So that was chapter 8. That's also another fairly standard chapter. I mean, in terms of time, it's usually not a chapter where you're gonna gain a lot, and you're usually not gonna lose a lot either if you done it appropriately, I guess.
Yeah, and you want to end the chapter with at least 6 or 7 arrows.
Yep.
And then just in case you miss for these next couple guys, and then you pretty much don't use the normal arrows ever again.
Yep. Yeah, because you can also refill. It's up to you. You can refill those arrows. I never do, because the corpse is just there. I mean, if you really want to. But as Digital said, is that you're gonna use sometimes maximum 6 arrows. So usually it's 2 arrows to kill the next 2 guys. So it's 4 arrows total on those gunner on top. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. So 1, 2, then 1, 2. Sometimes they will take 3. That's why I said it could potentially take 6, but I have not seen that happen in forever. So.
Yeah, and TGD shoots the one on the left first, and then the one on the right, because the last one he kills is where the key drops.
Yep.
So you want it to be closer to the warehouse.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then
true.
as TGD is setting up for this skip, there is on the left staircase when you enter, there's a chest that you can get another 5k on.
Right there. I can go show it, I guess, just so that people know. So we enter from that door here, guys, from that door, but I went straight right. So is the chest on top right here, right?
Yep.
So if you feel like you're lacking a little bit in money, open here, this chest, and 5k essence. Alright, so now, I mean, I don't think there's even a point in showing the what would be considered the advanced version of the skip back there, because I don't even do that myself. I think it's just total garbage. So the best way I think to do the skip like easier, because you might find it weird, but I found out recently sometimes what I was doing wrong and why I was missing it, is that if you delay your X, okay, well, at the right time, the only thing that's going to prevent you from getting that skip is if you cancel your shuriken too fast with the Y. So for example, if I jump, I'll try to show it right here. If I jump, I delay my X, and then I cancel my shuriken too fast, sometimes it will like end right, like, fuck, I can't show it right now. It's keep trying to go back on top, but it will end up right here. Okay, we'll end up right here. And now, because I got the hang of it back then, I might have a hard time like messing it up, but I'll try to mess it up so you guys can see what it looks like if you there you go, exactly. You see what happened there? I canceled my shuriken too fast, and I ended up going too short. So when you do your X cancel at the right time, then you kind of want to let the shuriken animation not fully appear like this, but let it enough time so that you gain enough distance, because that shuriken throw will also manage to, well, get you a little bit of distance, you know. So jump, then you let the shuriken go, and then after you go towards there. It's also very important, I just want to show, it's also very important to place your camera in between those here, because if you go too much towards the right like this, and then you jump and you do that, regardless of how much you want to get on the platform, you're never gonna reach it, you know. So by putting yourself center here, there we go, and then you continue the pathway here. Here what you can do is that I'm doing it because I'm used to the movement, but when you're not used to it, you can just recenter, I guess, your camera like this if you prefer. Then you do the jump, and then you go into shuriken cancel into Y. You gotta wait a little bit to gain some distance, because you see if you do it too fast, it does that. If you like cancel shuriken and do it too quick, it will do it like that. So You wait that you get a little momentum backward, and then you do your shuriken into Y. That's pretty much it for that place.
Yep, and that second one TGG showed is like maybe a couple second time save. So if you miss it the first time, just run around the stairs.
Yeah, pretty much. So equipping the explosive arrow for the next fight. The next fight is always going to be the same strat also. I'll let Digital explain it a little bit, but it's not very complicated.
Yeah, so he's gonna hold B again. You go left and then right, and then you get to wait for the first wave to spawn on the right, and then you're pretty much just going back and forth. After that, there's 12 enemies in this room, and you just want to keep being at the point of waiting for them to respawn. Otherwise, they might get too close to you, and it messes up the timing on both sides.
Okay, so there's actually 11 total. Just noticed the kill.
Okay.
Actually 11 total.
Yeah.
Just always just making sure. I thought I was like, am I off with this? Because I thought it was 11.
Yeah, I think I hit one twice and it's sunk in my brain.
It's all right. All right. So tank. Well, tank. I mean, tank can be really good or really bad. And one thing that I will explain here is that I'll try to aim in between the tank and the gunner, because you can kind of do double the damage to it if you're at the right spot, you know. But it's just something that even when you know you can get it, you're not always going to get it, you know. I think Digital knows what I mean with that. And the hitbox can be wonky also for the top of the tank sometimes.
Yeah, and TGG is hiding behind the box, but like as cornered in as he can, because that's what protects him from the tank cannon hitting.
Pretty much. If you're a little too much to the right here, if I'm too much to the right, the tank can hit me. Be aware of that.
And that's one good way to avoid it is Inferno, which is what he did first when it was going by him. And then that last one right before the end was jump and then X, just to avoid the damage, because it's shooting the ground, it's not shooting it.
Yep. Great elixir right here.
Yep, right there, yep.
If needed.
I don't know if it was explained, but he swapped from the explosive arrows to the other. I always forget what it's called. The other
AFS something. The penetration arrow.
Yeah. And then he just refills for the helicopter fight.
Okay, so this one is pretty much just about all having good aim, and sometimes it can give you shitty pattern. I hope it doesn't happen in this run, but I guess Digital can explain a little bit what can happen when he gets to the other side. So I'll start the fight, and I'll let Digital explain the two things that can happen in this run. One that you pretty much never want to happen during a speed run.
Yeah, so we'll see. TGG's going to keep hitting him as much as he can, and so the ideal strat is once he turns around, he'll go to swoop underneath the bridge. Second. Yep, so he's going to go under, which is the ideal strat. So here you can see he use that one arrow, he kills, he can move while going through this, and then he goes in blind fire like that, and then he's dead. The not ideal strat is he'll wrap around the whole perimeter of the arena, and he's so far that you have to lead your shots very, very far.
Very hard
it's hard to hit him, yeah.
Yeah, very hard. Okay, here, I want to say something stupid, and that will work for, by the way, beginner and advanced strat, okay? Might seem stupid that I'm running on that specific side, on the right side here, you know, but I counted the amount of jump, and it's actually shorter to jump on the right side here. So when you go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know? And then if you go to the other side, if I recall, I think it's 5, so... See?
Yep.
So it's one jump less. Some people might not think it's really important, and I mean for the beginner player, it's not gonna be that important. But I just think it's good to implement it as an habit to know which of these plays take shorter amount of jump, because that will ultimately save time along the way.
Yeah, so for this room, the goal is to get rid of all the satellites. The only thing, there's two things that can happen here. One is that the The soldiers on the right will hit for you enough that it staggers him, and the other one is they'll throw a grenade and it hits him.
You got lucky here.
If your health is looking, yeah, if your health is looking good, ignore the soldiers. Even if they hit you with a grenade, just roll jump away and keep shooting the satellite.
But if your health is low, make sure you heal because those guys can kill you. They do a good bit of damage with the grenade. I think here it's to kill them here. The strat is not to skip them, I think.
Yep.
Because the advanced strat, you skip them, but I'm not going to show that right now. I'm just going to go safety. You blind fire, shoot the arrow. So you just mash B as you enter the room. Sometimes they will still hit you, so be careful for that. Especially if your health is low. Be aware that you can take damage here. Now you enter this place and you quit right away, which is just to make spawn an event fight on top. Go get the key card that we need to progress to the next section. Now, as weird as it sounds though here, I think it's still better to go for the Nimpo strat because we always have that extra Nimpo, you know. So I think that even for the beginner player, they should try to go for Inferno here. If you line it up properly, most of the time you will be able to kill all those 3 guys, which overall is pretty much always faster than the explosive arrow from what I tested, you know. So.
Yeah, and TGD did a quick roll jump along the wall to make sure he's closer.
Yep.
And there's no shenanigans with you shooting the wall or something.
Pretty much. Because if you center your camera right away, those guys will shoot at you as soon as you turn the camera towards them. And here those guys decided to be a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, and then a small thing TGD did there was also he rolled into the door. That way Ryu wouldn't have priority to try to hit the enemies. Yeah, so he rolled and then he was mashing X at the door.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Which will actually be helpful in this next room with the bats.
Yeah. Now, funny thing about this specific part here is that this wait time is only on normal mode. This does not happen on hard, very hard, and Master Ninja, which is very odd. And I've tried, I don't know if I told you, but I've tried, for example, to get in here. It'll not grab the explosive arrow at first, get in here right away, and then go back for the explosive arrow, see if that would speed up anything. And I don't think it did, to my knowledge, so...
If anything, you lost time now, so you had to go back?
No, I don't think I did lose time, but I don't think I gained either, you know, so...
Okay.
I think it's that thing where you just have to wait that certain amount of time. And usually I try to, like, so... I guess it's the 3rd pillar near the door here that I try to stay at, and that's usually the trigger point. And then as soon as this happens, you kind of want to go down here. So, okay, so... For the purpose of that fight, because I do want to make a save point here, so the purpose of that fight, I'm going to show what you kind of want to do, and then I'm going to skip it, but I'm going to go back in and kill the bat and save. But I'm just going to show what you're supposed to do. So as soon as I will press X, I will roll jump, then roll into the door and mash X. And if you do it fast enough, you do not have to kill the bat in this room right here. So you see, I skipped the bat. Now I'm just going to go back in because I want to save. And also, good thing to know here, if you don't manage to get in, if you kill all the bat right here, once you get back later for chapter 13, because you're going to pass through this area, they're all going to be dead. So, I mean, if the first time you get stuck, you can kill them all. And then when you come back later, they will all be dead, so you don't have to kill them again.
Yeah, and the exact inputs was he did a roll, jump, and then roll into the door. That's just enough distance to get to the door.
So this chapter, there's a lot of back and forth, I guess. It's very easy to get lost in a run here if you're not paying attention to where you are, to confuse, you know, to the part you're in that chapter. So I would say the first few runs is kind of very important to pay attention to where you're going, what you're looking up. So next up, what do you feel is the safe strat for the worm? Just regular gleaming blade, no ET charge for the close release. I think it's
I wouldn't ET charge for the beginning because he can't hit you, and I would be worried for some buddies will do it.
So you're gonna dodge those projectile here, and then you static jump, and then when you land in Gleaming Blade. I'm not gonna do any ET charge, which is more than an advanced strat. You can also bait this and then go back and go for another Gleaming Blade if that happens. So, static jump, Gleaming Blade. That's it. Surprisingly, it was a very decent fight for the pattern that I did.
Didn't want to shoot at you at all.
yeah, that was actually really decent. All right. Then of course, when we show the advanced strat later on, when you kill him with the ET, you get a little bit more money and all of that. So if you, I don't know, if you picked up this chest, you kind of need it if you didn't pick up all the other chests before. I think if you picked up the 2 5k chests in the previous chapter, the one that you mentioned in 4 and in 9, that you're definitely not going to need that chest. But for the purpose of the advanced strat later on, I would just say that this is the only real chest that you need, because you kind of don't want to pick up the 2 other in a more advanced run, I would say. Go around. This you can do, I guess I've seen Cormac do it differently. I've seen Cormac go for the tablet. You know, I've seen a couple of people go for the tablet and then go for the Spirit of the Devil. I'm used to doing it like that, but that's entirely preferences, you know. So if people want to go for the red tablet and after they want to go for the Spirit of the Devil, they can do that too.
Yeah, and just for small menu time save, you know, you don't have to consume the Spirit of the Devils right away. We do all of our menuing for pause you later, and it just saves time overall instead of going in and out.
Yeah, because you're doing a lot of things at once instead of doing it just each thing individually, where it will cost you more time, as Digital said.
So now we're coming up on double worms. It's pretty much the same strat that TGD just showed off with the Gleaming Blade, except you have another worm that's probably going to shoot at you. So just keep an eye out for that. One thing that I wanted to note is that when the worms are doing the sweep and you feel like you might have been caught or something, or you're not ready, you can block it. You don't have to roll or jump or anything. You can block it. Not quite ready. Yeah, so there's nothing you can do there. He's stuck in the recovery frames of the Gleaming Blade attack. So that's just one of the cons of doing the Gleaming Blade.
Yeah, it's really rare they will do that, but it can happen.
Yeah, so there, if you didn't see, there was a floating blue essence from the first worm. So TGD used that to fuel Gleaming Blade to do a lot of damage, and then just finish it with the Flying Swallow.
To do that though, you gotta make sure that he's at the right amount of health, because it doesn't do that much damage. So if you do it when he still has a fairly good amount of health, you might just end up in the... So this thing might look complicated, but it's really not. I just want to explain it real quick because it looks easy. You just jump on that part of the wall, you roll forward, and that's it. You just keep jumping straight. It looks tricky, but it's very easy to pull off.
Yeah, and in the previous tunnel before that jump, there was a big elixir that you can get as well.
Yeah, to the right. Yeah, you're right, after the worm.
Yeah. So you just want to keep as many as you can for the next chapter if you aren't using an oxygen tank, which we'll go over. But you want to make sure you have as many big heals as you can for the next chapter.
The more I think about it, though, on the oxygen tank, I was actually thinking about that earlier, you know, because I think it's one of those points where you can save a lot of time. But I do think, honestly, that even for a new player, they should try to implement this strat, because you can lose so much time, you know, going for the oxygen tank. I think especially if the drones decide to be trolly and all, like, because the strat is risky to do the swim when you're not used to it. But at the same time, if you stacked up enough elixir, you can also use some small one, you know. You just don't have to necessarily use big one like, we'll say, advanced players do at this point in time, because they practice that section quite a bit. So I think you can use a few extra like regular elixir with it.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to know before TGD left that tunnel, he did fill up on incense from that body, which you want for positive. It saves you money.
Yep. So here right now I have a lot of money because I went for the the more
Yeah.
safer strat. So if you do have that much saved up, you pretty much want to max out your elixir, and then the leftover here, because I never have enough to do that, to be honest, when I reach here usually. Sometimes if I'm lucky I will have enough for elixir, and maybe one of those, that's when I'm having a really good run in terms of money. So but if you did pick up the chest and all of that, and you have enough money to get the extra, I think it's okay to get them. Because what you can do with those 2 extra, because I've thought about it in my run, is way later you can use them on chapter 13 on pill bugs as extra Nimpo. And then you can just refill it after Spirit Doku. Before Spirit Doku, sorry, chapter 14. So I'll say it when we get there. They're fairly standard movement. We're gonna activate the switch right here. This place can be annoying when you just activate it. I'm gonna just jump, but sometimes I just get hit instantly out of it. Kind of a random. These guys
Yeah,
can be annoying.
and for that button, you don't have to push Y down. You just need to get to the top and then just let Ryu fall.
Pretty much. Just the extra height, you know.
Yeah. Because you can have Ryu hit an enemy instead of the button if you push Y down. So just let him fall and you won't have to worry about that. And then any of the arrows here will work. You don't have to swap to the normal ones or anything like that. There's another elixir back there.
Yep.
That we just passed.
It's right here. Goes if we want it. Extra one there. Right. This boss, did I tell you actually that I've been practicing it lately because it's giving me a lot of problems. So even on the whatever advance or whatever, I think we're gonna try to use the same similar strat. But this boss can just be really annoying in a run. And I mean, I'm gonna show kind of like the basic strat on how it goes, but it will really go either way. So you equip the Lunar, Incendiary Shuriken, Fire Wheel, and then that's where you do the menuing that Digital was mentioning earlier. So you're gonna use that Spirit of the Devil, and then you're gonna use the Jewel of the Demon Seal to level up that for level 2, and then after you're gonna start the fight right away. Now, the thing is with that boss that makes him really annoying is that he has a certain amount of damage that he needs to take before he gets stunned. The problem with that is that if he ends one animation and he's already decided because of the design of this boss of how it works to do another animation, you will not be able to stun him in between those animations. So for instance, if he goes for a bite, you're gonna see, and then I'm past the threshold that I need to knock him down, if he decides that he's moving to the other side of the arena, I'm not gonna be able to stun him regardless of what I do. So that's really important to know for that boss because he has a really weird damage threshold if you want to stun him, where also the Incendiary Shuriken you throw on his head will not do the same thing, but we're gonna get into that, I guess, once I start fighting.
So the combo TGG is doing is he's doing forward Y right now to just to get some damage on him while he's throwing IS in there. Then he's doing fire wheels, forward Y, shuriken over and over and over and over. You don't want to end with Y, which is when he does the slam down, because the recovery animations on that is really long. Yeah, it makes it, you're not doing as much damage, and it's actually higher risk because, you know, Kazu can grab you or anything like that. And so
Very decent.
at the end, TGD just kept hitting him in the head with Incendiary Shuriken, and that's what killed him.
One thing that is good to know, to aim the Incendiary Shuriken in his head in this game, because I didn't know until I think it's Frenchie that said it to someone, you need to aim your joystick backward from where you're shooting. So when I'm pressing B, I'm actually holding my left joystick down so that it shoots up. You know, it's really weird to explain.
Yeah, it's like the closest part to you, which is his head.
Pretty much. And that's because of the inverted control of this game, you know, but this is how it works. It's really weird, but that's pretty much how it works. And overall, that was a really good fight. I'm not gonna lie. The chances to get a fight like this in a run for a new player is highly unlikely, but you do get an idea on how to fight him properly.
Yeah, so this is everyone's favorite chapter.
Yep.
Lots of swimming.
Best chapter.
So up where you start the chapter, there is one more chest where you can get another big heal.
Right here.
We're full.
Yep, right here.
Yeah, we're full on everything,
Fuck.
but it's we really want to show you that one.
Oh my god.
But yeah, if you're one short or something like that, just grab it.
Yeah,
it's free, and you're gonna use it when you do the deep dive.
So I go lower, by the way, here, because if you stay at the same height, you know, this guy's gonna bite you. So make sure you go lower when you enter the room.
Yeah, so you grab the owl's eye, and then you refill your oxygen here, and then you can go and do the combo.
It's gonna be, by the way, down, down, up. For the first two number, because it's easy to get confused at first. Then you go up and down, 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 up. So here, if you want safety strat, you can resurface and gain air. I'm not gonna do it here, but you can do it.
There's also a shop there too.
Yeah. If needed, if you need to refill elixir or anything, if you feel you're a little low, especially when you're starting the game, it's kind of good to make sure you have enough heal.
Yeah, and just to note, so if you don't know, you can lose all your oxygen. It just starts draining your HP, so you don't get a game over because you lost oxygen.
No.
It's when you lose all your health.
Yeah. Also good to point out, that will not trigger the talisman. So if you die in the water, you drown, you're dead. Yeah. So now here it's, well, you can explain a little bit what we're gonna do, and the outcome of that area will depend on how good your swimming is here, actually.
Yeah, so you can, I say you can because I don't think I've done it yet, that you can actually make this full swim without having to use a heal. But it's super unlikely. You have to have really, really good movement. So you got to open that chest, and then expect that you're going to use at least a heal here.
Yeah.
Even a small one. And again, you drown, you lose the run. It's over.
You're done.
No talisman, nothing. So don't be greedy, because being greedy costs you at least an hour of your time now.
Yeah, pretty much. So usually use a grate. There's another grate coming up that you can replace, and I'm gonna do it in this run just to show it. Usually I wouldn't do it in the advanced strat if you get a really good swim, but we're gonna do it here. Alright, so go up here. I think actually I do the safety strat, because here the more advanced strat would be to not do that nimpo. I always do it myself, because when I get here, I didn't heal, so that refills my health, you know. We're gonna talk about it in the advanced strat, but because I did not do that in that run, it's not really important to, you don't have to use an nimpo is what I mean. You can bypass that. So after I use a grate, then I'm gonna come back here and refill that extra one, because you kind of want to be full for that next section. This is where the swimming will pretty much be very important.
Like before, you want to kind of swim on the lower side if you aren't swimming very straight, because the fish can grab you if you're at the same level as them. And then you don't have to smoke low. You can just drag across the ceiling.
And they do a lot of damage when they grab you
Yeah.
anyways sometimes, so not great.
Yeah, so here you want to get to the very edge, refill, and then now we're starting the deep dive.
And I think that even if you don't have as much elixir as I do and all of that, guys, you can always do a variation going with the great and some small elixir if you feel like you're gonna run out of air, you know. But technically, with some of the refill, you know, for the potion that we mentioned, the one early on in the chapter, then the second one that you replace, you should technically have enough elixir here to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and one of the worst things that you can do here is one, not watching your HP bar, but two, like bonking into walls and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's gonna just kill your momentum. So those are the biggest things that you can do.
I'm also
So here,
equipping Fire Will for Nim.
yeah, give a little menu time there as well.
Because even if I don't end up using it against Doku, I guess it's equipped already for the next chapter. Smogan and all of that. I feel like
you don't have to cut it that close.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I thought I risked it a little bit too much here, guys. Don't do that. Don't win that your life is that low. That at first is too risky.
But there you can see TGG still has 1 after all of that.
Yep.
He started with 5 and he used 4.
So now I'm gonna let you explain your strat.
Yeah, so Doku, you really just want to do forward YY over and over, and so you want to watch or forward YY X. The X is what puts you behind Doku if you're close enough, just like that. The only time you're going to really have different iterations is when he's doing different attacks. That was a really good fight.
That was a really good fight. I'm sad.
He can block those. That's just RNG, but if you are doing forward YY and then X, you're still doing damage with the YY and the X puts you behind him. What you're doing while you're in the air is you're watching to see what he's going to do. So if he does that barrage attack where you just keep swinging, you can delay Ryu in the air by doing like something like Shuriken, and then as soon as you start seeing him fall again, you can end with Y, just to delay the risk of getting hit.
Yep.
And then if you land and he's still doing it, you can cast your fire wheels for that much more iframes, and by then, like, there's nothing else that should be going on. So he should be resetting a next attack, and then you can start again.
Yep. And that's digital, by the way. That found that strat with the Lunar, so that's why I kind of said you can explain your own strat, because, well, you know it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, chapter 12. So have a little bit of a shortcut at the beginning, I guess. So what I use, by the way, for indication, I've seen people use different things. I use that white part of the wall, like right here. That's kind of where I initiate my jump usually. And what you will wait to see is that Ryu pushes against the other wall. And then here I kind of missed it, but like he pushes against the other wall like this, and then you delay your jump a little bit. And if you do it too early, it'll do the same thing that I did at first. So if I go here and then here I jump, that's too early. Oh, well, actually I'm surprised. I thought it was too early. Like, right here. So that's too early. You see, that's too early. So what you want to do is just to wait to see that Ryu is starting to lose momentum, I guess, but you do get a feel for it along the way. So here I've seen people do different things depending on what you want to do. As I explained before earlier, when you roll off, well, an edge or anything, you cannot fall off. So there's two things that I've seen people do. Either you rotate your camera yourself and you roll towards this to make sure you're facing towards that platform, and then you jump BY like this. Or if you want, I'll do it like I'm coming from down there again. Or if you want, is you can do this, and then what you can do is first person center it yourself. It's entirely up to the player, I guess. And then what you can do, turn the camera, jump forward, and you're on top here, and you activate the lever.
There's also, I think there's a big heal up at the top of that first one as well. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, well, I grabbed it, right? This one here,
Oh, okay,
right here.
okay.
Yeah, I grabbed it automatically. See, the chest is open. So, yeah, great elixir. We grab it. You kind of want to grab it, too, when you reach that area. Because that's this chapter, now that we use all the heal on the previous one. And also, if, for example, you got a bad Doku fight and you had to use a grate there, that's also another thing that's going to come into play. So, that's another big one here. Refill. Run on water, another big one, refill. And then here, Lunar level 3 to break that wall. You cannot break that wall with Incendiary Shuriken or with Explosive Arrow. You can only break that wall with level 3 Lunar, level 3 Dabil Arrow, or the Warhammer. Maybe am I missing something else? Lunar,
Nope.
Dabi? No. Level 3.
Yeah, and this chapter's really, it's actually pretty great. Like, it was set up for the speed run because now you just get a ton of quick heals right after using them for the deep dive.
Yep. And that's why you grab them all. Jump down here. Then you can break that wall here with an air destruction slash. Now, I did this version here. You don't have to do this one. If you want, you can simply like come here and then just do the regular jumping here, and that's it. Entirely up to you. The other one, I guess, is a little bit more advanced, the wall run, but it's up to the runner.
Yeah.
Also here, I delayed a little bit actually, I forget to say, but when I turn, I don't, if you do it too fast like this, you see you fall in the hole. So if you want to specify, there's a run and then you delay it a little bit so that you gain a little bit more distance.
Yeah, and the last thing that he did before he left is he did a static jump and then he like dragged Ryu in the air. So that's how you do like almost like micro distance jumping is without having to risk like a huge directional jump. So that's how he was able to make it down really easily.
So obviously I'm not showing the ice scabber, ice scabber in the shortcut.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not showing that. The advance.
So you get like 3 different opportunities there to pick up the tablet, so just make sure you grab it.
So here, for safety strat, I just jump regularly towards the wall, but for safety strat, you're gonna jump and do air destruction slash. Also here, okay, something here I want to mention because I see too many players do that now, and I don't know if you still do that yourself, because I found out recently that I see a lot of players doing air destruction slash BY, but you can literally roll if you time it right, jump and BY. So you can roll and just do that. See, it's very simple, but I saw a lot of people that were doing like the air destruction slash BY version, and that's just complicated for absolutely no reason, you know. So I just showed this one, and if you're not comfortable doing it with the roll, by the way, because the roll does shorten your jump. So if you don't want to roll, just wait that you're neutral and then go BY. You gain even more height, you know. So I mean, it's just the shortest way to do it, I think, which is simpler than the air destruction slash. Now here, gotta be careful because you can slash like this and fall straight in the lava. So make sure that the probability, it happened to me very recently, by the way, which is why I'm mentioning it. You're not supposed to fall down twice here in the lava, so I'm just gonna refill that. I was not supposed to get hit. You're not supposed to get either, even for beginner. So if you fell down, by the way, and you couldn't get the ore, there's one right here too. There's one in the corner that you can get. You lose a little bit of time, but yeah. So shortcut here, that's kind of advanced, I think, right on the right. So I'm just gonna go with the regular platform, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you only need 4 iron ore. I remember when I first started running, I grabbed every single one, and then found out way later that I only needed 4.
You only need 4, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just keep mashing square, and at some point you're gonna get the animation here. But for the comeback, though, even though there's a shortcut here that's faster to go up, for the comeback, we're not gonna go all around. Okay, so what you can do is you just roll backward and angle like this, and then jump, air destruction slash, puts you on that little platform, I guess, and then you get out of there. Now I think that wall run is also probably advanced strat, so we're gonna do the press one, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The other one's high risk, high reward.
Oh, my angle was bad here. All right. Angle yourself right. If not, you're gonna do exactly what I did there. Air destruction slash. Not too late. If you delay it too much, you're gonna get hit by the steam and you're gonna fall back down. And here, well, that was kind of advanced, but I guess you just want to kind of land on that little platform and go back, you know, to what I did.
Yeah, and I recommend practicing that little lava segment at the end that we just did to get through the door, just for the movement and understanding when you're gonna wall run, when are you gonna, you know, run it all the way through, and just understand the distance, because you don't want to keep falling in the lava.
Pretty much.
So Young Prow, that's almost like the Goku strat. You're doing forward YY, X just for damage. You don't want to end with a Y down because, like I said, with recovery frames. Yeah, the only enemy that you really end with Y on is Logan. Yeah, so really clean. Ice slams. He has iframes, so you can't really do anything. Yeah, just wait for it. I think it's 3 or 4 depending on where you're at, and you can just make sure you're right on top of him at the end of it and just punish him.
You can spam it multiple times in a row, just be aware of that, guys.
Yeah, so we were talking about this a lot. Like we said, you do go through this area a lot of back and forth, so get comfortable with the movement.
So sometimes I like to jump here, but right now the game is just fucking trolling me, so you can jump like this, on the outside. If you lost a lot of health, I guess, during the section, or even if you didn't lose that much health, but you want to refill, big elixir right here, alright? Just so you know.
Yeah, and here you want to avoid the fire. It does do a ton of damage. Don't try to erase it.
Yep. Same strat, I guess, as the previous one. Depend if he goes for the projectile, I guess. Different way to dodge the projectile. I'm not sure if he's gonna do it here. Doesn't seem like he's doing it. But the projectile is dodged the same way as I'm doing Gleaming Blade. You static jump through the Ring of Fire if he does it. Here, it's one of the only cutscene I did where you will be in movement. Almost fell in the lava there like an idiot. You gotta be careful for that because the angle can be a little weird. So here, you just jump. You don't like roll, you don't walk, you just jump instantly. If you do anything else, you will end up too far from the platform. You'll have to reactivate the switch. And here I do a shuriken cancel into Y, so I don't have to static jump near it and do a Y.
Yeah, and I just wanted to note for the fire room too, it only takes 3 gleaming blades, and then you can end with the flying swallow because you're going to be right on top of where the eye ends up, and it'll kill him. You don't have to hang out and wait for another one.
Right. I will see how good I can get it at number 1, but
yeah. So for instance, he is wrecking him. I'll go really fast. So you're going to do forward Y, and then you can do X Y, and the reason you end with Y is because you're already going to land in the lava, so you might as well get one more hit, and then getting hit by the lava will actually cancel some of the recovery frames a little bit. So you'll be able to just redo it over and over again. So the risk of this fight is when you land in the lava. Every time you jump in the lava, you take initial damage, and then you take like, I don't know, like melting damage, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just gonna constantly drain your HP. So you don't want to sit in there for too long, but you also want to keep an eye on what he's doing because, like in TGG's fight, he got hit by one of the attacks. Was it the wind attack that he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
So
takes
you got
double
caught in that.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you got hit from the attack and then landing in the lava. So that's what can cost you that fight is the fireball or the wind attack with the lava damage stacking on.
Yep. So that was chapter 12.